Okay, so here is my STEM bus reflection. So today we actually had the GEMS event, so it was for girls in engineering, math, and science. And it was just a really cool event to see because I'd never seen anything like that for STEM that was geared towards women. So it was at Bloomington North. It was a 4-hour event. It actually had a really good turnout. It was a pretty good level of participation. And it was supported by a lot of female staff and like high school volunteers that were also women that I assume were interested in STEM. So yeah, it was just really nice to see. So first with the facilitation and teacher support. Um, so for the facilitation, I tried to take more of like a hands-off approach. Students that are in fifth and sixth grade, like the kids were today, um, are at the point where they can kind of think through things for themselves and take a more like self-directed approach to things. So I just kind of wanted to give the kids the space to work on their own and try and troubleshoot and figure things out for themselves. But I also kind of let them learn from each other. So if there was like a group in front or behind mine that was like really getting it, I try to encourage them to like work together and like solve their issues. And it seemed to work pretty well. And then support. So I tried to make sure like I was supporting the teacher by like keeping kids at her pace, not letting them get way ahead or way behind of her. But I also tried to like reference her suggestions and kind of reiterate what she said to the kids just so they kind of got the main ideas. And I also tried to like keep the materials pretty well organized and not let kids get like way off track. So the use of technology. So technology obviously in the experience today enhanced the educational experience. So it kind of allowed students to discover the differences between conductors and insulators themselves, as opposed to just listening to a lecture. And yet you could just see on the students' faces like it was a different kind of learning when they actually got to discover something and experience it for themselves. So they got to use circuit boards and wires and iPads with applications all together to like kind of see this demonstration. And my only suggestion for it would be to like instead of just giving students step-by-step directions to like tell them how to set up the circuit board, maybe like letting them experiment with it a little bit and see if they can like kind of figure it out on their own. Obviously today there was like a time constraint. We were trying to like get groups through, but I think if you were doing this in like a formal class, I think you would have time to kind of expand on that and maybe even give kids more time to like make hypotheses and stuff like that. Okay, so successes and struggles. So the struggles today were definitely just understanding the technology for myself. We didn't have a lot of time to prepare what we were actually doing because we had Wi-Fi issues. Literally 20 seconds before the kids walked in, the Wi-Fi decided it was going to work. So we kind of had to adapt really quickly, so there wasn't a lot of preparation time. And then of course there were like little technology errors throughout, which is inevitable when you use technology like this. So, but the successes, I think I was able to adapt to like the environment differently. I'm not used to like an environment that's not high school, so being able to work with those kids was definitely an adjustment, but I think I adjusted pretty well by the end of it. And then also just communicating with the students and like communicating with the teachers and the staff and things like that. And then improvements in identity. So, for the future, what did I learn from this experience? Well, I think I'll try to practice a little bit more patience with things like this and like try to have a growth mindset with sim related activities. It's never been my forte, but seeing how valuable it was for some of the students today, I guess I will try and be a little more open-minded about it. Um and then also I would like to just do things that wouldn't look exactly like this but close in the same ballpark to like spark innovation in my own classroom. And then also just like I learned about how to adapt to situations, specifically related with technology and like to communicate more efficiently with staff. Yeah, and then we've got some pictures here so you can kind of see like the classroom setup and the little wire and circuit board thing with the iPads. And then like a couple pictures of the STEM bus and kind of how that looked. So yeah.